Good morning, everybody. It is Screw You again, and I do say good morning because it is first thing in the morning for me, and as usual, I woke up with the burning desire to record some Dominion strategic commentary. This game was against Mr. Gerald, and you look at the kingdom here, and we see a few significant things. We see young witch, but we see that there is a Bane that's village. So the Bane is pretty good to have in the deck anyway. So I'm not really sure that we're gonna get the young witch here because between goat and lookout, there's a lot of thinning potential. So we look at our opens. And I do get to go first here. And I'm thinking about what I want the deck to look like. I'm thinking that the encampments and plunders are going to be the main thing that are important to play around this game. So I want to get thin really quickly. So I go ahead and open with a lookout and a spice merchant. So between that, the goat, and the spice merchant, I should be able to get thin very quickly. And the opponent does something similar, except instead of the lookout, he takes a silver. And that's fine too. I think that the silver is reasonable. I get the silver on turn 3, so the only difference is that I am thinning this shuffle one more card, and he has a silver in his deck for this shuffle. So we're in similar spots, him and I. Right, so he grabs a scheme so that he can play his Spice Merchant more often. Makes a lot of sense for him, I think, given that one, there's Orchard out and Triumphal Arch, so scheme is one of those cards that you can accommodate in your deck en masse for those. And also, he only has the Spice Merchant for thinning, so cycling to it more often with scheme makes a lot of sense. Now he gets a mine. Okay, so this is I admire his play here. I wish that I had gotten a mine, actually. I end up thinking, because we are going to get to the point where, one, we're going to want the gold in the deck as quickly as we can get it, and two, we are going to... Why did I discard the goat there? I don't know. Maybe I decided that hitting the price points was more important than thinning faster. Um, oh, but I do get the gold. So we're going to want the gold in the deck, and we're also going to want the encampments. So, like, that mine is actually going to do some work for him throughout the course of the game. My thinking was that I want to spend my $5 buys and my terminal space on Tormentors, because that attack is going to be kind of relevant. But the mine is pretty good. So I have the gold in the deck, and he has the ability to get the gold. So we are both now pile driving the encampments, basically. And he trashes for cards. Now he's got the gold in the deck because of the mine. So he was playing pretty precisely here, I think, because he started pile driving the encampments knowing that he was going to mine a gold in this shuffle. So good on him. But I actually win the encampment split 3-2, which is important because there's Orchard. So I get some points on that. And so a lot of that is because I went first, I want to say. I have first player advantage here, so that has a lot to do with why I win the encampments. And you'll see first player advantage play out quite a bit on these boards where split piles are important, I think. So he trashes his goat and turns it into a plunder with the mine again. So that mine is going to give him an advantage on the plunder split. He ends up having to put an encampment back, though, so I guess you could say I was going to win the encampment split no matter what. Oh, I wasn't winning it. Now I am! Okay. So I needed first player advantage and for him to have an unfortunate draw, but I do win the encampment split. And I can't imagine I'm getting this last plunder. So encampment split 3-2 in my favor. Plunder split 3-2 in his favor. So the points are probably going to equalize from that because he's got more points from plunders, and he's going to get more over the course of the game. But I get that splash of points from Orchard, and I think the Triumphal Arch points as well are going to be relevant. The next card we start shoving in the deck, both of us, is Tormentors. Now, you'll notice he's kind of a turn ahead of me every step of the way. Like, every step of the game plan, he's executing the same plan, but he seems to be a turn ahead. Except that I got the plus buy so I could get 2 Tormentors. That does a little bit for me. We're transitioning into a phase of the game, and he grabs the province. We're transitioning into a phase of the game now where instead of going for any given split, the game is going to be revolving around the Tormentor attack and which hexes come to which. Okay, so one thing I want to point out here, you notice a little while ago I trashed my goat. Where was that? It doesn't really matter. So I trashed my goat, and there wasn't really a reason for me to do it. I kind of just did it to get it out of the deck to line up my encampments and my plunders. And then the very next turn I get Plague. So that was a little bit of a mistake of mine. I'm super lucky I give him Envious and Delusion. Basically, he skips his next turn. He can't really do anything with his next turn, except, I mean, he's got the plunders, so he's got $6 from that. I guess maybe he'll hit province anyway, but he gives me misery. That hex is potentially important, probably not though. So yeah, because of the Envious and the Delusion, he can't buy anything except a gold. That's really the only relevant buy he can. Oh wait, I thought he had Delusion. Whatever. I guess I misread or something. So, Famine, Bad Ovens, I give him 2 of the Shuffle Your Deck for no reason hexes, and then I give him the Locust Hex, which trashes a Plunder. And that's brutal, because those are, like, how he lines up his draw, although now he has an Imp, and they are also his source of points. So that's a huge deal that I trashed his Plunder, I think, with the Locust Hex. And we hit 7 here. We're not really sure what we want to do with that. We're thinking about putting a gold in the deck, I think, but it's not a clear call. I think the scheme is fine. It doesn't hurt anything. The gold would make it a little bit inconsistent for us. There's no real capacity to double province because the only plus buy is Spice Merchant. So I get Poverty and Greed here, both of which hurt a little bit. Decide to discard the 2 stop cards, thinking the encampments are going to do more for me. Let's see how that works out. I play encampments. Okay, so it ends up... Why did I not play the Spice Merchant first? Oh, wait. No, I could get plus buy here. So, ends up working out for me. Alright, yeah, so I go ahead and go for plus buy on this Spice Merchant because I got the Greed with the Greed Hex. That was actually lucky for me. Actually, the Hex that he gave me helped me, if you think about it. He put a copper on top of my deck, and I drew it with Spice Merchant to... use it as plus buy, and he does war, and he trashes my Spice Merchant because I happen to have my scheme in hand. What else could he have trashed? Do I have a silver in the deck? No, I think I trashed that. So it was the only target, but it was a helpful hex, I think. So we're pretty neck and neck here. Again, as I predicted, the points are pretty equal right now between Orchard and his Plunder split. I give him Misery and Delusion. Delusion probably doesn't matter. So the schemes are pretty nice the way they're playing out for me. If I get a third scheme, I get orchard points for it, so I want to think about doing that. The third scheme is worth more than a duchy if it comes down to duchy dancing. And I decide again just to discard the 2 stop cards I have when I get poverty. Try to make the turn as good as it can be. He picks up a silver here. I don't actually know exactly what his deck looks like. That might have been the right move, but it's also a stop card that is not Plunder and not a Tormentor, so I'm not in love with it. I give him Locust again and trash his Tormentor, taking away some of his Triumphal Arch points. So that's, and I may have, or I took away Orchard points. I don't really remember, but that's a pretty brutal hex for him to get again. The trashing hex. I get copper hex again, and if I draw that with the Spice Merchant, it's actually helpful, not harmful. So, encampment, play encampment, and we get the last province. So, all in all here, I think we saw a few things play out. One, I had first player advantage. Two, I think I got a little luckier with the hexes. But I also think that, yeah, I got nothing. Thanks for watching. How do I turn this thing off again? God damn it.